أعزائنا المشاهدين الكرام، ندعوكم لمشاهدة هذا الفيلم المميز والاستمتاع بكل لحظة فيه. نتمنى لكم وقتاً ممتعاً.
Long before the lines on our maps were drawn, North America was a vibrant tapestry of cultures. For thousands of years, this land was home to hundreds of distinct nations. From the frozen north to the sun-drenched south, these peoples, whom we now know as First Nations, lived in a profound relationship with the world around them. They weren't just surviving, they were thriving. They built complex societies, rich with unique languages, sophisticated traditions, and deep spiritual beliefs that honored the cycles of nature. Imagine a continent filled with diverse communities, each with its own story, its own art, its own way of understanding the universe. This is a history that is woven into the very fabric of the land itself, a story of resilience, wisdom, and connection that deserves to be heard and understood. Long before European ships ever touched these shores, North America was a land vibrant with life, home to countless nations, cultures, and traditions. These were the First Nations, the original inhabitants of this vast continent. They were architects of thriving communities, masters of living in harmony with the land, and keepers of profound wisdom passed down through generations of stories and songs. Their history is not just a tale of survival and immense struggle, but a powerful testament to incredible strength, unwavering resilience, and the enduring spirit of renewal. This is a story that continues to unfold, a legacy that deserves to be heard and honored. Have you ever wondered what North America was like before 1492? Forget the empty, untouched wilderness you see in old movies. The truth is, this continent was a bustling, vibrant world, home to millions of people living in hundreds of distinct nations. Before the first European ships even touched these shores, a rich tapestry of cultures stretched from coast to coast. Each nation had its own unique language, its own traditions, and its own profound understanding of the world. It was a continent not of empty land, but of thriving communities. In the dense forests of the Northeast, the Haudenosaunee, also known as the Iroquois Confederacy, created one of the world's most sophisticated political systems. This great league of peace was so influential that its democratic principles later inspired some of the founding fathers of the United States. They weren't just living in the woods. They were building nations and shaping philosophies of governance. Out on the vast, sweeping Great Plains, nations like the Lakota, Cheyenne, and Comanche lived in deep connection with the land. Their lives revolved around the mighty buffalo, or Tatanka. This magnificent animal provided everything: food, shelter from its hides, tools from its bones. The buffalo was more than just a resource, it was a sacred relative, a central figure in their spiritual and daily lives. Their horsemanship and deep knowledge of the plains were legendary. Now, journey southwest to the sun-drenched arid landscapes. Here, in what seems like an impossible environment, the Pueblo peoples, like the Hopi and Zuni, became master farmers. They developed incredible irrigation techniques to grow corn, beans, and squash, building multi-story adobe homes that rise from the desert floor like natural extensions of the earth itself. Meanwhile, the Dine or Navajo created a resilient culture of shepherding and weaving, their beautiful art reflecting the colors of the canyons and mesas. Head up to the Pacific Northwest, where the cool, misty air meets the sea. Here, the Haida, Tlingit, and Kwakwak thrived in the lush, temperate rainforests. They were master woodworkers, carving monumental totem poles and massive cedar canoes. These weren't just decorations. Each carving told a story, a family history, a connection to the spiritual world. Their potlatch ceremonies were extravagant displays of wealth and social status, reinforcing the bonds within their communities. For all these diverse nations, one belief was universal: the land was not something to be owned or conquered. It was sacred. It was a living, breathing relative, the ultimate provider of food, medicine, and spiritual connection. Every mountain, every river, every plant held a spirit and a purpose. This deep, respectful relationship with the natural world was the very foundation of their existence. The story of pre-1492 America is not a prelude. It's a powerful history of innovation, spirituality, and civilization in its own right. Imagine life before the late 15th century. Then picture everything changing almost overnight. The arrival of Europeans initially sparked new opportunities. Trade brought incredible new items, like metal tools, creating new alliances and possibilities. But this period of exchange was short-lived. Colonization followed, and with it came devastating consequences. Diseases like smallpox and influenza swept through communities, spreading faster than any army and wiping out entire populations. Land was claimed, promises were broken, and people were forcibly removed from the lands their ancestors had known for generations. For centuries, there was immense pressure on indigenous peoples to abandon their way of life. A particularly painful chapter was the era of residential and boarding schools, where children were separated from their families and forbidden from speaking their own languages or practicing their traditions. The goal was cultural assimilation, and it left deep, lasting scars that communities are still healing from today. Despite facing unimaginable hardships, the First Nations people endured. They fought for their very survival, fiercely defended their ancient traditions, and resisted every attempt at assimilation. Through generations of struggle, stories, songs, dances, and sacred ceremonies were kept alive, often in secret, passed down from one to the next. The elders became living libraries, the keepers of memory, ensuring that their languages, myths, and core values would not be erased from history. For centuries, indigenous peoples were subjected to policies of cultural suppression. Children were forcibly taken from their families and sent to residential and boarding schools, where they were forced to abandon their languages, their traditions, and their very identities. These policies inflicted deep, generational wounds that are still felt across communities today. Yet, through it all, warriors stood to defend their sovereignty, and leaders never stopped demanding the recognition of treaties and fundamental rights. Their spirit of resistance is a powerful testament to their strength. Far from being just a part of history, indigenous communities are actively shaping our present and future. Right now, from the coasts of Canada to the heartlands of the United States, a cultural renaissance is unfolding. Voices that were once silenced are now rising, leading the way in reclaiming ancestral languages and revitalizing beautiful, profound traditions. Artists, writers, and filmmakers are captivating the world, sharing powerful stories that have been untold for too long. A new generation is forging a strong connection with their heritage, drawing strength from the wisdom of their elders. This movement isn't just about preserving the past. It's about building a better future and demanding justice. The call for reconciliation is a call to all of us, reminder that true healing begins with truth, respect, and meaningful action. The history of the First Nations isn't just a story confined to the pages of a textbook. It's a living narrative that breathes in our present and shapes the future we all share. When we choose to honor the First Nations, we are doing more than just looking back. We are acknowledging the deep pain of their past, recognizing their incredible resilience against unimaginable odds, and celebrating the enduring contributions they continue to make to all of humanity. Think about it. The very land we walk on holds their memories, their stories, their spirit. It still remembers. And if you listen closely, you can hear them. The voices of the First Nations, rich with wisdom and strength, still rise. Let's listen, learn, and honor them together. The history of the First Nations isn't just a story confined to the pages of a textbook. It's a living narrative that breathes in our present and shapes the future we all share. When we choose to honor the First Nations, we are doing more than just looking back. We are acknowledging the deep pain of their past, recognizing their incredible resilience against unimaginable odds, and celebrating the enduring contributions they continue to make to all of humanity. Think about it. The very land we walk on holds their memories, their stories, their spirit. It still remembers. And if you listen closely, you can hear them. The voices of the First Nations, rich with wisdom and strength, still rise. Let's listen, learn, and honor them together.
شكرا لمشاهدتكم هذه الرحلة في تاريخ وتقاليد الأمم الأولى في أمريكا الشمالية. نأمل أن يكون هذا الفيديو قد ساعدكم على فهم ثقافتهم وتراثهم واحترامهم بشكل أعمق. إذا كنتم ترغبون في مشاهدة المزيد من الأفلام الوثائقية التاريخية، لا تنسوا الاشتراك ومتابعتنا للفصل التالي في التاريخ.